Hey everyone, for trichomes.com, I'm Ashley Manning, and this is Careers in Cannabis. On this show, we sit down with staffing agencies, cannabis companies, and other industry professionals to discuss employment opportunities in the burgeoning cannabis industry. One of the most interesting parts, in my opinion, about having a career in cannabis is the unique and creative ways young professionals are finding ways to enter the industry, and not necessarily working for someone else, but themselves. Today's guest is a small, fast-growing business with a passion for eco-textiles, equitable trade, and sustainability. On this episode, we talk with Sunny Taylor, founder of sunnylifehats, handcrafted, packable, breathable, antimicrobial, eco-textile hemphats. Hey, Sunny, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Ashley. Thank you for having me.
It's good to have you here. I think, you and I met maybe 3-4 months ago at the San Diego Farmers Market, which was interesting enough for you to pique my eye as a hemp company at a farmers market, because I know that's been a challenge for some hemp companies to be at farmers markets and getting the approval process. But what's funny, let me back up my story a little bit here, is my wife has been trying to get me to cover up from the sun for decades, and I can't. So one thing that caught my eye was, well, it's made of hemp, so I'm going to use it somehow to protect me from the UVs. So of course, cannabis is one aspect that would get me to cover up from the sun. But we're not here to talk about me today. We're here to talk about you and your journey. And so before Sunny Life Hats became Sunny Life Hats, what were you doing that led up to your career in cannabis? Because let's face it, hemp is cannabis. So
yeah, it's true. And what a big question. I think a lot of times when we're falling into a type of career, there's a lot of leading up to being in that space. And for me, it wasn't specifically the desire around cannabis and around hemp. It was really just aspiring for authentic connection and bringing something into the world that we want to see more of. And so the journey for me actually started at the market. I was working for a permaculture orchard, sharing their goods at markets, and developed relationships with some other folks who had interest in doing the hemp headwear. And so it like based off of just being in front of people and engaging and just creating a relationship, and leaning in, like really just putting the energy out there to make it happen and kind of take it from a backpack to a 4-foot table to booths in San Diego. It's pretty wild. Yeah.
It definitely is. You said permaculture. I'm not familiar with that term. What does that mean?
So I guess you could unfold it saying permanent agriculture. I think it's a large concept that encompasses multifunctional systems that benefits the earth and the ecosystem immediately and at large. And so this is a big cookie to crumble there with the permaculture. But when I was out, I was actually in New Zealand at the time. I was at a permaculture orchard and farm, and they had a little bit of a community there. And so bringing the fresh fruits and veggies to market and doing the juices and the fruit vinegars and all these lovely products was it was really fun. It was a great experience to meet people, and it led to this unfolding chapter in my life to be able to share these fun things. I mean, goodness.
Right. So you were in New Zealand. Did you travel elsewhere in the world, mission work, or travel for fun, leisure?
Well, yeah. I mean, I'm very blessed to have gone to school, and then I worked in the office, and then it was a dream of a partner and I to start traveling. One of our first destinations was New Zealand, and from there it was like Hawaii, New Zealand, Australia, and leading into where we can take the headwear to different sunny spots around the world and the different connections that we had based off of the initial relationship that I made at the market, who already had some like roots in New Zealand and Australia. So it made it way easy to get there because it's all about relationships. People want to share what we have, what we're excited about, and if you find some reciprocity in the relationship, I feel like we can really do anything together. So it's not about Sunny. It's all about what we can do together with these types of projects, right?
Yeah, I like the aspect of permaculture, adding that to where you were, where you're going, and so did that. How did that evolve into Sunny Life Hats? What was the transition where you're like, I want to do this myself with my partner? Where did that? How did that?
Mm-hmm.
What was
So
that gap?
yeah, it's really, I have to be honest. It's about seeing one way to do it, and then knowing that we can do it just a little bit better. And what I mean by better is creating more value, right? So the relationship that I made in New Zealand initially was it's a healthy relationship, and my friend, I'll call him Marco, right? My buddy Marco, he had started to establish some markets with the hemphats, and he did a great job. He did a great job at serving the people, but I felt that there was a little bit of a gap in what I think a conscious business owner should be able to provide, where we're making the hats and where we share them. And that, coupled with how do we offer jobs immediately in our environment to grow the project successfully, I felt like I had motivation to do this. And I've been working on team building skills through school and through the permaculture orchard that I was talking about. I was running those markets with teams, and so it's like, all right, I see what you're doing, and yeah, I want to do it the best that it can be. And so it ended up being a relationship with this gentleman Marco, and then some other people saw me and the project as we were growing in the U.S. We first brought it to the States in 2017, and they fell in love with our concept, and they also had connections exactly where we started to make these hats. And they offered their workshop of 15 years. They've been working with a fair trade workshop to the project, to me. And so what ended up happening is I ended up going to this fair trade workshop with this other company called J. Lee. It's an awesome hippie clothing company out of Marin, California. They're phenomenal. jlee.com. Please check it out if you're into that space. They're really fun clothes. And they introduced me to their workshop. I did so much research when I went there. I saw over a dozen different workshops, but the relationship, the setting, the professional atmosphere, and the way that we dealt with the people, specifically the artisans who are preparing and crafting the wares, there was no comparison. It's just a beautiful space, like a home setting. And like open, like multiple floors, open air, like put together well, with respect, happy, like just doing, it was just a beautiful. It's like that's what you want to see when you want to make something handcraft. You don't want it to be in a dusty freaking basement with no airflow. Like that's really lame. So it was this, and then I also got introduced to one of our foundational philanthropic reaches right now, which is our Lions Club affiliation in Kathmandu. So I was invited to a Lions Club chapter dinner, and if anybody doesn't know what Lions Club is, I can just say it's a internationally renowned philanthropic organization. So we can compare it to a Rotary Club. Local community support groups in the States, we're doing park benches, we're feeding homeless, we're doing other community supportive activities, and the funds are raised externally, like in philanthropic events, like food drives, bake drives, these kind of things, public events, in Nepal, in Kathmandu, where both these hats are made. Incredible. All the funds are coming from the internal members. So it's a group of international business men and women and Nepalese businessmen and women who find it their responsibility to dedicate their success towards the ascension of people around them, right? And so I was invited to this dinner, and they asked me to talk about what I'm doing, where I wanted to go with the project, and invited me to be a part of their group. And since then, we've accomplished multiple camps, bringing doctors and dentists out to really rural areas outside of Kathmandu, and we even did a wheelchair distribution program in Q1. it's been like a phenomenal success, and it's all just being open to these connections. They're coming in. What do we want to see out of the world? It's easy to kind of be held back with all these emotions and caveats of life. But to just see what's in front of us and take advantage of it for the better of everybody is the rhythm. So thank you for
Yeah.
letting me take that, Ashley.
Yeah. What a unique story you have, giving back in a sense, not in a sense, you are giving back, through your work as well, not only to fair trade, but something sustainable. I know not all your hats are hemp hats, correct? Just,
They found the main infrastructure is hemp. I have a couple. Some have some blends of hemp and cotton, uh, but most like the structure. Both of these hats, the structure is the hemp. These are two different types of layered hemp. We have this rough hand loomed weave on the sides, and then you have this like tighter woven hemp on the brim. And there's of course we have to add some metal wire sometimes around the edge to keep it taut, and just so that it's not flopping in the face and stuff. But yeah, they're mostly all hemp, which is cool, and all sourced locally in the country of Nepal.
oh, that's great. My favorite part is being able to shape these hats into anything that I want. I can do the
Yeah.
cowgirl hat. Right now that looks pretty
Yeah.
bad, but you
No,
get the point.
there's no wrong way. There's no wrong
The
way. And I love your entry into this video. Actually, it's like I feel like you have this beautiful scalloped shape, and I call that. I love to make names for things. I mean, that's the fun of being human. We get to name things, but I like to call that like the flower. Beautiful flower. So I really
well,
like how you
thanks.
styled your hat.
Thanks.
Yeah.
The other part that I like about the hat, which is my favorite part, I travel a lot and I never can get my hat somewhere and take it out and it look nice. It takes a day for it to reshape. I literally can lay this hat flat in my bag, suitcase, pile clothes on it, take it out and reshape it to exactly
Yes.
what I want, which is one of my favorite parts. On top of it being cannabis hemp,
Mm-hmm.
so two of my favorite things. So let's shift gears a little bit and talk about
Yeah.
how you got into festivals, farmers
Mm.
markets as a
Okay.
hemp company. 2017, I can't imagine that was an easy process in 2017 to get in there because I that's my experience, but you might have had a different experience than
Well,
myself.
well, I mean, I think that this space, especially like larger corporations and merchant accounts, people who like Square, like shop, like and Shopify, they're just starting to open up a little bit. But if you had hemp in your name, they wouldn't give you business. They'd shut you down.
Right.
So you have to be I had to be very careful on how I for the how I publicly said like, this is what we're selling. Like I wouldn't put the names of hemp on my little items in my merchant account in Square. So I was aware of that. But I think the biggest barrier to entry for the markets was proper marketing material. I think so. Really having a concept and to be able to share a bit of a vision of the project. It's not just focusing. I think focusing on what we're doing, and then it is hemp. It's kind of like had to take a little bit of a second seat, have the hemp take a second seat just to get into the door initially. And so I think that if you're thinking about joining markets or larger events or music festivals or what have you with hemp wares or cannabis related products, I definitely encourage to work on a nice concept and some good photos of your projects, and to be able to deliver that in the most professional way to the organizer. Um, and sometimes it takes just like showing up to a market in person too, and saying, "Hey, this is like I'm thinking about bringing this. Do you have space at your market?" Showing a face. Um,
Right.
but those are just a couple things about the barriers to entry to the small markets. If that answers your question.
Yeah, I know a lot of people that listen to our show, they're thinking of ways that they can have a career in cannabis. And
Mm-hmm.
lately, I've been interviewing people who are smaller businesses who do want to grow, but the advice that those businesses have to other people are unique approaches. I think you have a very unique approach to how you got into cannabis in general, and so I see the potential for others to hear your story and be able to follow that as well. So hearing that advice is perfect. Did you face any stigmas when, actually starting to come out with hemp, like people walking down the farmer's market, hemp, and then, what, can I smoke this hat? Like some,
Oh my God. Wow.
I think I said that to you as a joke.
Yeah. And let me tell you, like, can I smoke it too? Like, if I had a quarter for every time I've heard that, I might not be selling hats, but I think I'd still sell hats because it's so much fun. I think that I've pushed the project to be in pretty conservative areas, and I haven't been just focusing on our core demographic and the right music events and the, even being in the city of, in any city, being in even Arizona, um, I face that a lot of kind of scoffing at the hemp,
How do
and
you,
how do I handle it? Oh, man, people want to play. So someone says, "Oh, can I smoke it too?" I'll say, "Sure you can, but it'll be an expensive doobie." You know? It's like,
That's a great response.
yeah. I mean, it's like or I'll say, "We know who the troublemaker is, right?" Like, it's like as as a healthy heckler,
Yeah.
you're gonna have to have a couple quips in your belt. Definitely have a stigma. I think that most of it comes from later generations and folks who are really in more like rural areas, conservative, and that's cool. That's great. I find it super good practice in order to understand how to most humbly share something new with someone, and even something that might have a stigma. It's an education opportunity, and so that's what it's all about. So it's like, okay, it's hemp. Well, what does that mean? What does it do? I mean, hemp naturally holds a lower heat index than cotton, polyester, straw, paper, wool. I mean, these are what other hats are made out of. I'm going to list them out, right? And then you can get them wet. You dry them out in the sun. When the hemp dries out in the sun, it releases bacteria with moisture. This is the antimicrobial nature of hemp. It's not going to be holding the bacteria. It won't get funky, won't start breaking down, And so we see that these hats start wearing in, not wearing out. And so it's just
Ooh.
like you can, everybody please take it and run with it, because they're just fun little factoids. And so that's some of the educational process behind it. Now these hats are a little bit more unique because we call it the unindustrialized hemp, because we're not using decortication machines. This is where hemp's been grown for hundreds of years. They never stopped making the hemp out in the Himalayan mountains. And so the process, what makes this project special is because it's putting the handcraft on the pedestal, and people see it and they're, oh, I have a hemp farm. Like, what can we do with our fiber? I'm like, well, yeah, you can get a decortication machine. You can buy a machine loom. You can replicate these hats for sure. But it's gonna be just a little bit different. It's really fun to be able to pay well for handcraft. And I feel like through the advent of the Industrial Revolution, we've been waning outside of this space. And so it's just another example of how to come back to the basics.
Yeah, for sure. So where does Sunny Life Hats, where do you want to be in the next 5 years, 10 years?
Oh, very cool. Great question. And I've been thinking about this a lot because there's been lots of changes and shifts around this time of year, especially coming back from La Corona. So really, if everything goes well, if anybody sees a hemp hat, they're going to know that the best hemp hat is a Sunny Life hat. And that's where we want to be. We've already done business in Florida, Pennsylvania, Arizona, California. We are in over a dozen stores across the country, and it's really, I get chills thinking about this. Like, this is a phenomenal. It takes teams who want to adopt the vision, create their own lifestyle through it, and then it takes someone willing to pay way too much than what you generally would to support those teams. And
Absolutely.
it's really like that's a really hard thing, just because you want to give so much and you don't want to stop the growth of the company. So it's like, and as just as someone who has to wear many hats, You know, it's hard to make the right decisions about everything. You know, chief finance officer, chief marketing officer, chief sales officer, you know, like chief accountant. You know, like we're trying to piece all these pieces together and then make the most prudent decisions for the company and for the other people. But I'm really just trusting that the resources that we're able to share with the teams who put their hard work and take the risks to be able to bring it to market, going to see the fruits, and then it'll just come back to the project in other ways as well. So where do we want to see Sunny Life Hats in 10 years? Sunny Life Hats brings the hemp hat to the U.S.
Yeah, no doubt with your energy and, you know, getting out there and taking out COVID out of this situation, also that you're going to expand. It was a hit on not only on the trichomes.com app, people in the community, but also on LinkedIn. Someone had posted something about looking for hemp wear, and I had tagged you and your website on there, and I think it got like 300 comments. It was just going back and forth about people talking about it. So I'm very excited to release this interview, because I think what your business approach is very unique compared to others that I've seen, but also how you got started. And a lot of people aren't mission first, and I really feel you are very mission first. It's not about the profits, it's about spreading the awareness of not only sustainability, but also what that actually means, not just preaching sustainability. And you're following all of those practices with everything that you're doing.
Thank you for saying that, Ashley.
Yeah, you're welcome. And so I see high hopes for Sunny Life Hats and where you guys are where you're going as well. I hope to see you at a festival when I get the time to be able to go to a festival, because I want to join you, take you up on that offer, and because that'd be fun.
Yeah, always welcome. Just celeb any of our events.
One of the questions that I always ask all my guests is, what would be some big brother advice you would give someone who's maybe on the fence about having a career in cannabis?
A big brother advice, you said?
Yes, okay. To someone who might be like, it's cannabis. I really want to, I have these great skills, marketing skill sets. I'm very interested in it, but I don't know. I'm a little skeptical about working in having a career in cannabis.
I'd say the first bit of advice would be seek out a mentor, seek out multiple mentors, seek out knowledge outside of yourself. If you think you have something special and you think that you want to bring something to market, the best way to be the most potent is to find people who are more experienced than you. You know, I would never be here if it wasn't for the helping hands along the way and the people who have literally shared their knowledge with me to be able to grow the business. And I'll make myself at your disposal as well, anybody who's listening and seeing the video. And there's many different opportunities that are growing within the Sunny Life Hat project. So there's a little plug there. You know, if we work well together, if we can work well together, I mean, we can just play our part, right?
Yeah.
And let it unfold. So I'd say chase that dream and seek the knowledge outside of yourself, for sure, because we're at a pivotal point in the hemp scene and the cannabis scene, and lots of laws and ordinances changing, and the awareness is there. And I think focusing on mission and service is going to set us apart, like, and just make the cannabis and the hemp really framework just be like a given, like, oh, it's coming from that space, like, we get it, you know. It's just going to be a secondary asset, like a no-brainer, that kind of thing. Like, it's so those are a couple words that I'd have.
Awesome. That's fantastic advice. So then, does that mean, did I understand, are you hiring then?
Oh, 100%.
Okay, awesome.
We're definitely doing lots of hiring. So we have multiple teams across the states right now, and we have more opportunities locally, San Diego, and then also travel. A lot of travel opportunities. We're doing a lot of events. You know, I think the great way to have the most impact is to move through geography and see the most amount of people. You know, we get to have more influence there, and that's totally up my alley. I love meeting everybody and, you know, sharing life with them and understanding where they're coming from. That's how we got introduced with each other. It's not just about selling a freaking hat. It's about figuring out where we are in life, where we're going. And we both were like taken back when we met. I remember because like we're both doing it. Like we're doing the best we can. Like we're so busy in the cannabis and the hemp space. And so busy is really productive. I love this. And so, yeah, we're doing some hiring, and we got a little bit of an onboarding process, and it's just based off of creating proper expectations and authentic connection just to get a little taste, see if it works. If not, good. It's good for the experience, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So then for our listeners, how can they reach out to you? What's the best way?
The best way is to just give us a direct message on Instagram. I think that's the best way to get in contact. SunnyLifeHats.
Yeah. At SunnyLifeHats, no underscore.
No. SunnyLifeHats, plural. Say it in a screaming room. Yell it across the bar. SunnyLifeHats. You know. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, I hope that you get some inquiries after we release this episode. And I also look forward to seeing you at farmers markets, seeing maybe your team and giving them a little nudge, giving them a little heckle here and there, just because if you're not around. But I appreciate your time today and sharing your story and your journey.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome in your career in cannabis. So thank you so much, Sunny Life. I'm calling you Sunny Life, but that's how I want to reference you.
Together. I appreciate it, Ashley. Thank you so much for ushering this project into your space, and to all the great people that have created and continue to really charge forward with trichomes. It's really exciting. Congratulations to everybody.
Thank you so much, Sunny. Bye. Hey, thanks for watching our channel. Click here to watch another episode of Careers in Cannabis and more great shows and interviews. To find more cannabis industry reporting, insider stories, and to stay up to date on the latest trends, make sure you subscribe and keep up to date with the Trichomes Community app. Download it now, and we'll see you there.